The letter that found its way back. Chapter 10. The Breaking Point. The rain came suddenly, like a curtain pulled down over Paris. One moment the sky was pale blue, the next it was steel grey, thunder murmuring in the distance. Emily and Daniel were caught in it, umbrellas useless against the downpour. They ducked beneath the awning of a closed bookstore, water dripping from their coats. Daniel leaned heavily on his cane, his hair plastered to his forehead, but his smile was wide. "This is ridiculous," Emily laughed, brushing water from her eyes. "Romantic, though," he countered, grinning. But the moment didn't last. A car splashed through the flooded street, and Daniel flinched, his hand tightening on the cane. Emily saw the shadow pass across his expression, the echo of the night that had stolen 10 years from them both, and just like that, the lightness broke. That evening, after drying off and sharing a half-hearted meal, Emily noticed the silence. Daniel sat by the window, staring into the street as though searching for something he couldn't name. "What's wrong?" she asked softly. He didn't answer at first. Then, with a sigh, he said, "I don't know if I can give you a real future, Emily." Her breath caught. "What are you talking about?" "Look at me," he said, frustration edging his voice. "I walk with a cane. Some days I can't even manage the stairs. I've lost time, strength. I'm not the man I was." "You're the man I love," she insisted. He shook his head. "But for how long? What happens when my pain gets worse? When I can't keep up? When I hold you back from everything you want? Paris feels like a dream, but dreams don't last." The words cut deep. Emily felt her chest tighten with fear, with anger, with heartbreak. "So what then?" she demanded. "You're just going to push me away? Decide for me what I want, what I can handle." "I'm trying to be realistic." His voice rose, raw and pained. "You deserve a whole man, Emily, not someone half-broken." Her eyes stung. "Don't you see? You are whole. You survived. You came back to me. That makes you stronger than anyone I know. Don't you dare tell me what I deserve." Silence crashed between them, heavier than the storm outside. Daniel turned back to the window, his jaw tight. Emily stood frozen, her hands trembling. She wanted to cross the room, to hold him, to make him see, but she couldn't force him past his own walls. That night, he slept restlessly on the couch again, and Emily lay awake in her bed, staring at the ceiling. For the first time since they'd found each other, doubt gnawed at her in the dark. The days that followed carried the sharp edges of avoidance. They still met, still walked the markets and shared meals, but the air between them was different. Conversation skimmed the surface, laughter felt thinner, and silence grew heavier. Emily tried to hold on to the small things, the way his hand brushed hers when they crossed the street, the sound of his voice when he read aloud in his halting French. But the distance grew, invisible yet undeniable. One afternoon, as they sat by the Seine, Daniel finally spoke. "I don't want to hurt you, Emily," he said quietly. "But I don't know if I can be the man you need." Her throat tightened. "And I don't know if I can keep convincing you that you already are." The honesty left them both raw. The city hummed around them, indifferent to their unraveling. That night, Emily found herself back in the attic where it had all begun, the letter spread open in her hands. She read Daniel's words again, trembling as though she had never seen them before. "I never stopped loving you, not for a single day." She whispered it aloud, the attic air heavy with dust and memory. And in that moment she understood. The letter had been written by a man who believed love was enough, even in loss. But the Daniel beside her now, he was haunted, trapped between the man he had been and the man he feared he could no longer be. If she couldn't reach him, they would lose each other all over again. The next morning, she made a choice. She found him sitting in a cafe, staring into a coffee gone cold. Without asking, she slid into the seat across from him. "Daniel," she said firmly. He looked up, startled. "You don't get to decide this for both of us," she continued. "I know you're scared. I am too. But running from this doesn't protect me. It destroys me. We've already lost 10 years. I won't lose another day because you're afraid of being less than perfect." His eyes flickered with pain. "Emily, listen to me," she pressed on. "I don't need perfection. I don't need magic. I just need you. Ordinary, flawed, stubborn, broken, whole. You. That's it. That's all I've ever wanted. Her voice trembled, but her gaze held steady. Daniel's shoulders sagged, the fight draining from him. His hands shook as he reached for hers across the table. I don't know how to stop being afraid, he admitted. Emily squeezed his hand. Then let me be afraid with you. Something shifted then, not the end of fear, but the beginning of trust. Daniel's eyes softened, wet with unshed tears. You really mean it. I really mean it. For the first time in weeks, his smile returned. Not bright or careless, but fragile and real. And in that fragile space, Emily felt hope spark again. That evening, they walked together through the rain-washed streets. The city glistened under lamplight, reflections shimmering on wet cobblestones. Daniel's cane clicked softly, his pace uneven but steady. Emily walked beside him, her hand tucked firmly into his. There was no grand declaration, no sudden certainty that everything would be perfect, but there was love, messy, ordinary, extraordinary love, carrying them forward one step at a time. And for now, that was enough. Chapter 11. The Outside World. The morning was bright, sunlight spilling like liquid gold across the rooftops of Paris. Emily awoke to the sound of footsteps in her kitchen, the careful shuffle and tap of Daniel's cane. She smiled before her eyes were even open. When she walked in, he was making coffee. Well, trying to. The counter was dusted with spilled grounds, and the machine hissed in protest. I think it's winning, he said sheepishly. She laughed, reaching for the pot. Step aside. This is advanced French machinery. It was an ordinary morning, full of warmth and laughter, and yet by nightfall, the outside world would test them in ways neither expected. That afternoon, Emily's phone rang as they sat in the cafe near her studio. She didn't recognize the number, but answered anyway. Emily Whitford? A woman's voice asked crisply. Yes, this is she. This is Marianne Delaunay. I curate for the Montparnasse Gallery. A colleague mentioned your paintings, and I'd like to feature your work in our upcoming exhibition. We'd need several pieces completed within the next 6 weeks. Do you think that's possible? Emily's pulse quickened. The Montparnasse Gallery was one of the most respected in Paris. An opportunity like this could change everything. Yes, she managed. Yes, it's possible. She hung up, breathless. Daniel watched her, brow raised. Good news? The best, she whispered, smiling wide. They want my work. A real exhibition. He grinned, reaching for her hand. Emily, that's incredible. You deserve it. But beneath the joy, a tremor of fear stirred. 6 weeks, countless hours in the studio, pressure, deadlines, and Daniel, where would he fit into this whirlwind? At first, he tried to be part of it. He brought her meals when she forgot to eat, read aloud while she painted, even stretched canvases when his leg allowed it. But the more she worked, the more he faded into the background. She lost herself in colors and strokes, the rush of inspiration. And though Daniel never complained, she noticed the distance growing again, subtle but undeniable. One evening, she emerged from the studio, covered in paint, exhausted but exhilarated. Daniel was sitting in the living room, coat on, cane in hand. Going somewhere? She asked. Just for a walk, he said lightly, but something in his voice was off. At night? Alone? She pressed. He shrugged. You're busy. I didn't want to be in the way. The words stung. In the way? Daniel, you're not, aren't I? His voice sharpened. This is your world now, Emily. Galleries, paintings, deadlines. And me? I'm the man with the cane who slows you down. You don't even notice when I leave the room. Her chest tightened. That's not true. I notice everything. But this chance, it means something. I can't waste it. I'm not asking you to, he said quietly. I need to know there's still space for me in the life you're building. The fight left her shaken. That night, Emily stared at the blank canvas in front of her, brush trembling in her hand. She wanted to capture color, light, beauty, but all she saw was the look in Daniel's eyes. The truth hit her hard. Love wasn't only about surviving storms, it was about surviving triumphs too, because success could be just as dangerous as loss. if it pulled them apart. The next day, she tried to balance better. She set aside her brushes early, insisting they go to the market together. Daniel seemed lighter, teasing her about her poor pronunciation when she ordered cheese, but the undercurrent remained. She felt it in the pauses, in the way he sometimes stared at her, as though memorizing her before she slipped away again. That night, as they walked home, he said softly, "I don't want to lose you to your art." She squeezed his hand. "And I don't want to lose you to my fear." They stopped beneath a street lamp, the city glowing golden around them. "Then we'll have to hold on tighter," she whispered. And for the moment, that promise was enough. Yet Emily knew the real test was coming. The closer the exhibition grew, the more the world would demand of her. And Daniel, still haunted by doubts, would demand something too. Proof that she wasn't just choosing her art, but choosing him. And she would have to decide, once and for all, whether love and ambition could live side by side, or whether one would consume the other. And that is it for today, my friends. The next chapter will be on next Wednesday if you want to hear more. So bring your coffee and biscuits, relax, and listen to the rest. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so yet.